Welcome to another episode of Metaphysical Moments. Hi, I'm your host, Sid Patrick. Today on our show, we're going to have a visit from Lana Johnson. Lana is a well-known medium in the Dallas, Texas area. She studied worldwide in many different forms of metaphysics. She's also a hypnotherapist that does past life regression, cord cutting, amongst many other things. Also, what we're going to talk to her a lot today about is spiritual healing. Lana is very well known for her spiritual healing. We'll talk about her journey in that field. So stay tuned for Lana Johnson. She'll be coming up next, but right now, a word from our sponsor. Welcome back. Now joining us is Lana Johnson. Hi Lana, how you doing?
I'm fine.
Well, what I want to talk with our audience about is, I want to first start with, talk a little bit about hypnotherapy and the different types of hypnotherapy that you do, and then we'll get into each category.
I do hypnosis from delivering babies to past life regression.
Okay, and that's something that you and your husband is very, very well known for, your past life regression experiences. Y'all actually cover most of the southern United States and then some. So tell us a little bit, what is past life regression? What are some of those stories, or what could someone expect, or even why would they come have a past life experience?
Well, they figure out a lot of things. Like if they're scared of water, they may figure out that they drowned in a past life. If they're scared of heights, it may come out that they have fallen to their death. And so that helps with things. Plus, if there's lots of things. If someone doesn't like you and they can't figure out why they don't like you, maybe you were their father in some past life. And so they can figure out a lot of things. They can go through a lot of healing through past life as well.
Okay, and so give us a scenario. Give us something, a reason that somebody came to, how it helped them, and some of the remarkable results that we get in past life.
I had a young girl come to me for a past life. And she first came to get her cards read, and her question was, I'm going to get an internship and I want New York. Please tell me I'm going to New York. So we did her past life. And in her past life we discovered that she had actually passed in 79 and reincarnated, I think in 82. So it was a really quick comeback. But in 79 she had been a young girl from Iowa. She had ran away from home at 19 and went to New York and married a man and had 3 children. And then and her family found her later in life and wanted to come visit their grandkids they didn't know about. And when they came, after they left, she, committed suicide. And so she left these small children. And she has now discovered who her small children were, and they're still alive. And there was twin boys, and they were both doctors in New York. Right. And so she is now a doctor in New York, and she's going to school there.
Good, great, very good. That's really pretty coincident, extremely coincidental, but very, very good. I mean, that's.
But she had all the information. She remembered her name, her state, what year, the dates, the times, their names, their dates and times. And so she hasn't contacted them and said, I'm your dead mother. Right. But she has found them.
Okay, great. Very good.
Right.
So now tell us a little bit about cord cutting. Why would someone come get a cord cutting?
Okay, if someone's in an emotional relationship and they have separated their ways and they can't get over it, the sting's still there, that bite's there, they hear their name and they go crazy, then they'll want their cords cut. Because what that does is it takes that sting away, it takes that pain away, and it brings back their soul. So that piece of their soul that they gave to them in the beginning of the relationship, they still have until you do the cord cutting and retrieve the soul. And so a lot of people have to have that soul retrieval so that they can be better again, so that they can be over that person. And that's what we do in cord cutting.
So is cord cutting limited to people? Like an example, because if someone had had a horrific incident, like say like some people here in New Orleans, Katrina is still a big thing. Could we cut that emotional cord?
We could. We could. It's just done differently. But
Okay.
yeah, we could.
Because people have emotional cords with more
Right.
things than just people. That's why I wanted to ask that question.
And a lot of people have that with animals too. The
Okay.
animal's passed and they can't get over it. They can't forget the animal. So
So it might help with grief as well.
right, it'll help with grief.
Very good. And so I heard you mention the word soul retrieval. I wanted to ask you about that again because I keep hearing about it. I've never heard anybody really tell me exactly what soul retrieval is. So could you explain that to our audience?
So soul retrieval, let's say that me and you have a relationship. I give you my soul, a piece of my soul, and you give me a piece of your soul. So there's a piece of your soul missing. So we retrieve that piece back. So a lot of times people walk around and, you know, they've had all these major relationships and they've never got that piece of their soul back. So they may not feel complete or at peace with themselves. So we do soul retrieval. And you can get soul, retrieval from more than one person. So a lot of times, even in past life, we can retrieve the soul.
Okay, great. Very good. So if someone wanted a journey into hypnotherapy to learn more about this, what would you recommend?
Come learn from me. We teach hypnosis,
Okay.
and we teach past life, and we teach.
Okay. And we're going to put that information on at the end of the show. It is your website, you and your husband's both your website, and how someone can look at, getting in touch with you guys about either past life, cord cutting, soul retrieval, any of those types of things, anything hypnotherapy wise, because you also help people lose weight and quit smoking and all those many things.
I've even had people quit smoking in past life sessions.
Really? Because something happened in the past life?
No, because she just said she wanted to see a hypnotist to quit smoking, and so she decided to do past life instead. So when I took her to her past life, we also take you to the spirit realm.
Okay.
And so we ask you to allow your higher consciousness or your higher self to come and speak. And at that point, I had her quit smoking.
Ah, great. So we learned that hypnosis can help with multiple things, many things. And I know that you and your husband both are pretty much well known all throughout the southern states and then some. So let's talk a little bit now about mediumship. So talk a little bit about your journey into mediumship. How did you first start connecting, and where did you go study, and recommendations for people?
Well, when I was little, I used to get in trouble because I saw people no one else saw. And so I wouldn't say that it left me. I would say I shut it down. And then it came back to me when I got older, and I started doing Reiki and other energy modalities. It just opened. And I had to learn to control that because, as you know, we have to control the spirits and we have to control how they come and talk to us. So I went to Arthur Finley, and that's where I learned all of my techniques for mediumship.
Yeah.
And so.
Okay. And you studied anybody in the States, or it was just in Arthur Finley? So that's the place to go if you're a medium. So
Right.
we do we'll put that information too up at the end of the show for people,
Right.
How to get a hold of Arthur Finley, look at all the courses they teach,
Right.
and it's wonderful. It's like Hogwarts over in England. It's a big castle you stay in and learn. So it's really an interesting place. There are some local area in the United States places you can learn, but nothing like Arthur Finley.
Nothing like that.
I know there's Chesterfield,
Lilydale.
and there's Lilydale, and there's Casadega, and there's a few others on the internet. And you can find all this information on the internet. So let's tell us about some of your mediumship stories, some of them how you've helped people with grief or helped people through mediumship.
Well, recently I was clearing a lady's house, and as I went to clear it, there was a young boy there in spirit who did not know the family, and he was just like torturing the children. And so I told him he couldn't stay, and he was very upset because he had just killed himself in January. And he asked me if I would find his mother. And I said, of course I will. You'll have to explain and tell me how I found her. So he told me ways to go about finding her. And so I did, and I found her. And another person called her and told her that her son wanted to communicate with her, and that she could come see me, and I sent a list of other people she could see if she didn't want to see me. So she called and asked to see me, and she came, and it brought her great peace. She had never seen a medium, had never even considered a medium, but she got information that only she would know. She got information that really made her know he was there, and it really brought her peace.
Very good. And so, it's really good. That's what we do as mediums. We help connect people and help them get a better understanding that our loved ones are always with us all the time, and that's the phenomenal. And what I also like about mediumship is that no matter who the medium is, and that's why we like to give them a list of people that they can choose from, is that we're all on the same mission, and that is the mission of spirit.
Right.
We're not here to do anything else. Our ego should not get in the way. We're just all on this mission for spirit, and that's what I love about mediumship. So now I'd like to talk a little bit about your spiritual healing journey. So tell us, how did you get involved with spiritual healing?
Well, Matthew is my teacher, and he came from England, and he taught a bunch of us in Dallas trance mediumship and trance healing. And I liked it, but I'm a Reiki master, and I did it, and I didn't see a huge difference. But then I got hurt, and I went to see John of God. And John of God is also a trance healer. And so it was really interesting, because I was pushed in a wheelchair to see John of God, and I walked on the plane. So I went home and I said, okay, I'm going to do this. And when I went to see John of God, you're supposed to put your hand where you want to be healed. And so I should have put my hand on my leg, but I didn't. I asked for spiritual enlightenment. And so I asked for the gift. And I had spirits coming to me in that night and telling me that they would work with me. And so I started doing trance, and I've done phenomenal things. It's not me, it's spirit. Spirit does everything. All I do is just go into a trance and leave and let them take my body. And I've seen amazing things happen. And so now I love trance.
And we had an experience together when we did a gallery once in Louisiana. We had a young lady who had recently, she has MS, and she had a lesion to the area of her brain that covers her eyesight. She had recently lost her eyesight. And we prayed over her and did some trance healing work with her. And the next day she woke up and had her eyesight back. And I was let it to come back, and in 3 days she had it completely back. And so that's just one of the many, many amazing stories.
She still has her eyesight.
Yeah, she still has her eyesight, yes. We just recently touched base with her. But there's another great story that I want you to share.
She has a condition that's making her grow. Her growth hormone is out of control. And so they took the small tumor off her pituitary, did I say that right? Gland. And it did not help. It actually made it worse. And her numbers went from 40, which is normal, to 911. So I had asked her to go see John of God, and I had asked her to go with me. And she doesn't believe in anybody or anything. So she didn't go. And so she just, was going along, and doctors were doing all they could do. And finally they said, it's 9/11, there's not a whole lot we can do. And so then she told her mom she'd come see me. And so she came to see me, and it was a long experience. A lot of things happened, and I won't go into the details. But afterwards, they had her blood work done, and her blood work had dropped below 200, which is just phenomenal. And so anyway, her mother called me from Hawaii to tell me that it had dropped that much. And the other day she called me because in the process of this, Spirit told her she had to start wearing color because all she wears is black. And so she called her mother and said, I'm wearing red today. And so her mother goes, keep it up. But she's doing really well today.
Great. So there's many, many more stories. We're not going to get into all of them, many stories of the different healing work that you do. But what I want to ask you is, there is a difference between Reiki and spiritual healing, because you've pointed that out to me. Right. So share that with me, so our audience understands what's the difference between Reiki healing, which is an energetic healing, and a spiritual healing, which is an energetic healing. Yeah,
but in Reiki, we can control the energy more. we have more control of the energy. And trance, I have no control whatsoever. I am totally gone. I have no idea what's happening. I have no clue what they're doing. And if they speak to you, it may be my voice, but it's not me. And so I just have no control of it. And I go out of the body, and then I come back in the body. And it's done when I come back in the body. It can last anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour. And I've seen the greatest work done in 30 minutes. The only thing is that Spirit has asked me to relay to the people I'm working on that when I'm through, that they not drink for at least 20 days. Because the spirits that I work with will come and continue to work with you up for 20 days or until you drink. And so John of God has that same thing. They don't, but it's 40 days. The spirits won't let you drink for up to 40 days. So I don't know why it's shorter with me, but it is today.
Oh, great. And so far you've had some phenomenal results, like we said.
Right.
So, and none of this, I'm going to say, none of this is ever guaranteed.
Nothing's guaranteed.
Nothing's guaranteed.
No,
because there's some things in life that just have to happen too.
That's right. And I had a huge healing the other day here in New Orleans. It was all emotional. But a man who was down on his luck and didn't want to come, didn't believe in me, didn't want to see me, came. And so when I first started, I could feel his agitation. And I went into trance. And as I was going into trance, his mother who passed showed, and she handed me 3 marbles. And so I went into trance. And when I came back into the body, Spirit put a praying mantis in my hand.
Yeah, mantis, yes.
Mantis, sorry. And I didn't know what that meant. So I told him, has your mother passed? And he said yes. And I said, she put 3 marbles in my hand and made sure that I knew there's 3. And as a child, he played marbles. That was his favorite thing, was marbles. And he had 3 sons. And so that's what the 3 was about. And then the praying mantis.
Mantis.
We Googled totem animals, praying mantis, and it came up, and I just handed him the phone and said, you can read it. And it was everything that he was going through in life right now. It was about rebirth and coming into, your own, and kind of forgiving yourself for past stuff. And anyway, it's very interesting and enlightening, and it healed him emotionally and spiritually. And so I don't have control over what happens, who gets what, but it does always, Spirit says that everyone gets what they're supposed to get.
Cool.
They assure me of that.
I'm sure. There's 2 things I want to cover. So we keep talking about trance, and you're a hypnotherapist, so you get it.
I
But
get
our audience doesn't always understand it. Tell the audience exactly what is trance.
Trance is more like, in hypnosis, there's different brain waves, and we want to get to delta, right? That's
It's
like
alpha, theta, and delta.
Right. And we like to be in delta and have people in delta, which is very hard, but that's like our deepest sleep. It's like this, it's where we want them. And trance is like that too. So when I'm in trance, I'm gone. I leave my body. Most people can't always do that, but I do. And so it's like I'm there, but I'm not there. It's hard to explain, but
you're in that delta state.
I'm in that deep, deep delta state.
Okay, and that's...
I have no memory.
And that's a trance state. And let's
It's
try
a
to let the
trance
audience
state.
understand what is a trance state.
Right.
And it's almost like you go to a meditation, a quick meditation, and you bring yourself down into that state,
Right.
and then you go.
Well, and when I'm hypnotized, I go into that deep state. It's also a state often called sleepwalker state, and so they're not even aware of what they're doing. Sleepwalkers.
Yes,
And so people often call it the sleepwalking state too.
okay.
But I'm not even aware.
Well, thank you for that information, because I'm sure our audience was kind of, okay, so what is trance? What do you know? And so, because I want to explain something to you, there's a lot of people when they hear you step out and you let spirit step in.
Right.
This is not a possession. It's more of an overshadowing of that spiritual
Right.
energy. And so I want to make sure that the audience, because a lot of people get really freaked out when they hear possession or they hear you step out and you allowing energies to step in, and they don't, a lot of people get really, really nervous about that. That's one of the biggest questions when we do shows that we, when we talk to people about the different things. That's one of the biggest questions we're always asked.
Well, and also, I do a lot of protection.
Yes.
I say prayer of protection over me, my client, the room, the building, the street, the block, the city. I put up lots and lots of protection, and I only allow love and light. I call the archangels to stand at each corner of the post. I only allow loving light and energies. And I have energies I work with. I have Matthew, Petra, and Chin, and I work with other entities, and I have St. Francis of Xavier. And so I work with these energies. I trust them. They are of God, and so they're the only ones that...
Right. But I just wanted to clarify, because so many people in different cultures have this really, strange feeling we talk about when we step back and let them step in.
Right.
So, because the mediums do that too. When we are doing mediumship, we step out and let that energy step in, so we can feel, and we can see, and we can hear, and we can do those things.
Yeah.
So, okay, very good. And to wrap it all up, what I would like to do is, first I want to talk about, so what does it cost for a spiritual healing? How does one go about getting one? Not just from anybody. And what have you seen in price ranges? And we'll talk about what you charge. Because, there are many people out there who do different types. I know Reiki in the city. You can get Reiki from anywhere from $60 to $200 a session. I know that there are many different pay structures and modalities and types and payments. So I don't really want to talk about the Reiki. I want to talk about spiritual healing. There's not many spiritual healers in the United States. There's only a group or a few that are practicing that I've seen.
Well, if you come to my office, I'm going to charge you for Reiki. But if you come to my office and you want trance and you understand how it works, I don't charge. It's donation only. Spirit doesn't allow me to charge. They said that people get what they need and they pay what they can. And so it's donation only, and all that money that I get in donations is going into a fund for someday I can have a spiritual center. It's not spent, it's being saved, it's not my money, and I have someone that takes care of that money. I keep all of that separate. Okay,
and so what I want to talk about is because not only does sometimes, people have to give you a donation, but Spirit sometimes demands that you give a donation. So let's talk about you giving donations, because you mentioned that once before, and I thought it was quite interesting.
Well, I had a lady in Dallas, and she's an older lady, and there wasn't a lot going on with her, but she would come and do trance, and she would donate $5, and it was okay. And one day she came and she gave me 20, and so Spirit said, give her 15 back. So I gave her $15 back, and then Spirit said, now look in the drawer and give her 40 more. She has a cake to make. And so I turned around and I said, Spirit said you need 40 more because you have to make a cake. And she kind of teared up because she was on a fixed income and she had no more money for the month. And so she went ahead, and her best friend had a birthday, but she wanted to make a big fancy cake and couldn't afford all the supplies. So she decided not to make the cake and just donate the 20. And so Spirit knew this, and so Spirit had me give her 40 plus her change back. And so there's been times that Spirit's told me, go get money and give it to this person. And I don't know why. Sometimes I have no clue what that person's going through in life. But I do it. And so therefore, it's done. I do what I'm told, and I do it.
Very good. So I just kind of want to say, it's not, this is really truly a spiritual connection. It's that it's something that's told to you. It's something that, you do. And, there's a lot of negative talk right now going around through certain people about mediums and spiritual healers and all this kind of, all this stuff. That's why one of the things that prompted me to do this type of show, to show that there are people who are spiritual in base and do the work of Spirit. And there's just some who aren't.
Well, even in mediumship, if someone needs it, and they need it because they just can't move on, or they can't, get past, I do it for free. Mm-hmm. This is how I make a living, And so I got to get paid sometimes.
Right.
But I do a lot of free work. People have no clue how much free work I do. Ask my husband.
I know.
And so,
Yes, I'm not your husband. I've watched what you've done for people.
and so I do a lot of free work. And I will go to them. I will do what I need to do
Right.
because Spirit tells me. And I believe that Spirit is
And
the
I want to
charge.
make it clear, it's Spirit telling them, not somebody calling you saying, hey, you need to donate this or you need to donate that. It is something that's
It is.
truly given to you, and they even tell you why, and the person doesn't even. You can
Sometimes Spirit don't tell me
Wow.
because I'm on a need-to-know basis with Spirit.
Okay.
And but anyway, it's real interesting because, and a matter of fact, let me explain. My husband broke my toe.
That's where I was going to go. Okay.
He broke my toe. It was accidental. It was not abuse. It was a whole accidental thing. But it really, the bone, you could tell it was broken. And it hurt terribly. But I also have an eye cataract, right? So I said, Spirit, just fix my eye. Forget the toe. I need my eye fixed. Spirit fixes the toe. And I said, why? I want my eye fixed. And Spirit said, you're still human, and sometimes we just have to go through things. So I'm having surgery.
Yes. Well, we're going to send some blessings and some healing and some light your way on that.
Spirit makes me go through things, just like everybody goes through things, so that we can stay humble and know we're human.
Mm-hmm.
Because we're here having a human experience, and that's what we're having. And we're supposed to have bad things happen, and we're supposed to have trials and tribulations, because that's what
Life is about.
That's what being human's about.
Mm-hmm.
It's to teach us, and that's how we learn.
Very good. So, just like I said, just to wrap it all up, we're going to post information about how to get a hold of you, how to get a hold of, for both past life, spiritual healing, mediumship, also massage therapy if you're in the Dallas area. Lana's a phenomenal masseuse as well. And many times while she's in her masseuse mode, she will also get into that mediumship world because of the deep meditation you go into during a massage. So sometimes you get a little extra. And instead of I'm going to make the joke, instead of a happy ending, I'll get an enlightening ending.
Okay.
So you get some enlightenment with your massages. So that's a really cool thing that you do with massages. And so we'll post all that at the end, and we will also post the website for you and your husband if they want to come learn how to do hypnosis, past life regression, cord cutting, and many, many more modalities that are in hypnosis.
I just want to say my husband is an awesome past life regressionist.
Oh, he is. My session with our husband was 5 hours long, so I remember it.
He's very thorough.
Very thorough.
He's amazing.
Yes.
Yes, he is.
Well, thank you, Lana, for joining us.
Well, thanks for asking.
Thank you. And folks, this concludes another episode of Metaphysical Moments. Good night. Namaste.